What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Syracuse Aviation, and welcome back to another Detroit Metropolitan Wayne County International Airport update. This update is packed with a lot of aircraft. I tried to fit in as many as I could while keeping the routes realistic and not repeating too many destinations. So there shouldn't be any more destinations in this update that are repeated than in other updates. So I try to keep things interesting with that. So that being said, we're going to get started here at the North Terminal. So right here we have a Southwest 737-700 in the Canyon Blue livery. This aircraft arrived in from Nashville and will be heading out to Denver. Behind him we have a Spirit Airlines Airbus A320. This aircraft arrived in from Las Vegas and will be heading out to New York LaGuardia. Then we have an Alaska 737-900 on the turnaround flight to Seattle. And right here we have a new model to the airport. We have the American Eagle ERJ-145. This aircraft arrived in from Philadelphia and will be heading right back out there. And the last aircraft for the North Terminal is the beautiful Royal Jordanian 787-8. This aircraft is on the turnaround flight to Amman. Getting started with Concourse B in our Delta Connection flights. In front here we have a CRJ-900 which arrived in from Greenville and will be heading out to South Bend. Next to that we have another CRJ-900 that arrived in from Appleton and will be heading out to Birmingham. And we have another CRJ-900. This guy arrived in from Allentown and will be heading out to Bloomington. The next CRJ-900 arrived in from Omaha and will be heading out to Montreal. And right here we have a Delta Connection CRJ-700. This guy arrived in from Chattanooga and will be heading out to Huntsville. Next to that we have another CRJ-900 that arrived in from Louisville and will be heading out to New York's John F. Kennedy. The next CRJ-900 arrived in from Tucson and will be heading out to Columbus. And to finish up Concourse B, we have a Delta Connection CRJ-900 that arrived in from Portland, Maine and will be heading out to Providence, Rhode Island. Starting us off at Concourse A, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A321. This aircraft arrived in from Miami and will be heading out to Cancun. Next to that, we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 737-900. This aircraft is on the turn-on flight to San Francisco. And next to that, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A321 on the turn-on flight to Denver. Next to that, we have another A321. This aircraft is on the turn-on flight to Los Angeles. And next to that, we have a Generation 2 Delta 757-200 with winglets. This aircraft is on the turn-on flight to Fort Myers. The next to that, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A319 that arrived in from Cleveland and will be heading out to Mexico City. Then right here we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 757-300. This aircraft will be making a flight to Phoenix Sky Harbor or Red River Aviation's airport. So yes, I am now allowing subroutes for the airport updates, so if you have one, feel free to submit it in the comment section below. I just do ask that it would be realistic. So I would like it to be a real flight that actually operates here on the real aircraft. So no fictional airports, and preferably they should be aircraft that I have in my fleet. So once again, if you would like one of your airports to be mentioned and featured in the airport updates, just go ahead and comment below and we can try to work something out. And next to that, we have an Air France Boeing 787-9 on the turnaround flight to Paris Charles de Gaulle. Next to the Air France, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A350-900. This aircraft is operating the turn-on flight to Nagoya. And next to that, we have another Delta A350-900. This aircraft is on the turn-on flight to Amsterdam. And the third Delta A350 is on the turn-on flight to Tokyo. And next to that, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A330-300. This aircraft is on the turn-on flight to Paris. The Delta 757-200 in the SkyTeam livery will be making a flight to Fort Lauderdale. Next to that, we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 757-300. This aircraft is operating the turn-on flight to Las Vegas. And on the other side of Concourse A now, we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 737-900. This aircraft is on the turn-on flight to Minneapolis-St. Paul. And then we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 717-200. This aircraft arrived in from Kansas City and will be heading out to Indianapolis. Then right here we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A321 in the Thank You livery. This aircraft arrived in from Milwaukee and will be making a flight to New York LaGuardia. Next to that, we have a non-winglet Generation 1 Delta 757-200 on the turnaround flight to Tampa. And right here we have a Generation 1 Delta 757-200. This aircraft is on the turnaround flight to Orlando MCO. And right here we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A321. This aircraft arrived in from Philadelphia and will be heading out to Salt Lake City. Next to that, we've got another A321 on the turnaround flight to Atlanta. And next to that, we have a pretty interesting flight here on this Generation 2 Delta Airlines 757-200. This aircraft will be making a flight out to Austin. I saw this on the flight schedule on Flight Radar 24. I doubt it's a consistent service on this aircraft, but I just saw it on the flight schedule, so I don't know what it was for, if it was a charter or something else, but I thought it was interesting, and so I decided to include it in the update. So once again, the Generation 2 Delta 757-200 heading out to Austin. Then next to that, we have another Delta A321 on the turnaround flight to Boston. And right here we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 757-300 on the turnaround flight to Los Angeles. And next to that, we have another Delta 753. This aircraft is on the turnaround flight to Fort Lauderdale. And next to that, we have a Delta Airlines Boeing 737-900. This aircraft arrived in from Puerto Vallarta and will be heading out to San Jose del Cabo. Now, recently, Delta, I think, has resumed a ton of their Mexican and international destinations, so this is among one of them for these two, so it's nice to see that, and we'll head on to the next aircraft. And right here, we have a Delta Airlines Airbus A321 on the turnaround flight to Boston. And then next to that, the last Airbus A321 for the update arrived in from Washington Ronald Reagan and will be heading out to San Diego. And right here we have another 737-900. This is the last one for the update. This aircraft is on the turnaround flight to Punta Cana. Right here we have a non-winglet Delta 753. This aircraft is on the turnaround flight to San Diego. Next to that we have our second Delta A319. This aircraft arrived in from Raleigh-Durham and will be heading out to Jacksonville, Florida. And our last Delta 753 will be heading out to Seattle after arrival from Seattle. Right here we have our last 717-200. This aircraft arrived in from Windsor Locks and will be heading out to Sarasota, Bradenton. And our last aircraft for the update is this Delta Airlines Boeing 737-800. This aircraft is operating the turnaround flight to Seattle. This aircraft is not really based in Detroit. It's very rare that they come here, actually. But since I have one, I wanted to put in the update. So I think that's probably our third aircraft that Seattle was on, so I apologize for the repetition there and everywhere else. But I just wanted to pack this update. So I hope that Detroit starts getting more 737-800s, but not too many because I only have two, and one of them is in the SkyTeam livery. So also, Delta is acquiring some A321neos. They should be delivered in March. I'll be eager to see where those go. I would hope that Detroit is one of the first places to get them. I would think they should be here fairly soon because obviously this is a Delta hub, but we'll have to see. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the update. If you did, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, or even subscriber routes that you'd like to submit, go ahead and put those in the comments, and I'd be happy to try and work something out with you. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.